Every day in America, we lose 12 kids. I'm talking kids now, 12 through 18, that are shot and killed. Every single day, there's a Columbine. Every single day. You take 25 countries in the world. I'm talking first world countries, Germany, England, France, Japan. And all the kids that died due to handguns and violence, you take the total of 25 first world countries, you multiply that by 10, that's how many we lose in the United States of America. By the time they're 25, they're either dead or they are in jail. 30% of our kids will flirt with gangs. It's a huge problem.
You've got basically a very, very small number of people on the planet which wish humanity ill in some proactive way. And they are, at this point, able to threaten the survival of the human race. Why? Because they act with greater conviction. They're more energetic behind their goals. And when we are as convicted behind love as some people are convicted behind hate, this planet will transform. Something that I feel is good is that I do believe there is a new emotional sobriety and a new emotional maturity among the American people, and I do believe that 9/11 had a lot to do with it. You know, we all know the line from Einstein that we will not solve the problems of the world from the level of thinking that we were at when we created them.
And we need to begin to lift the standard of a new ideal, where the traits and the values we see as reserved for our highest honors and respect is the courage to care and the moral imagination to empathize with others. We need to get in touch with the better angels of our being so we can end war before it ends us.
What a Department of Peace will do is give a more sophisticated analysis of what constitutes peace, a more sophisticated and resourceful and expert analysis of what it would take to wage peace in as meaningful and sophisticated way as we now know how to wage war.
We had an institution that was an institution of the ages, that really did have long-term interests at heart and didn't get whipped up into the mass hysteria, understood crowd dynamics, that we could then have a much better chance of avoiding the mistakes and the misjudgments, the misinformation, and the miscalculations that have allowed us so many times to slip into war. And that's why the Department of Peace needs to have people in all different disciplines. Not just the normal, standard, regimented ones, but people who, as you said, think about not only how to get us out of war, how to stop war, but how to foment the conditions for peace so that people aren't susceptible to wanting to kill one another. We need people in that Department of Peace who think deeply about how to break the syndrome of war itself.
Institutional heft and a platform within the workings of the U.S. government, therefore a front and center stage in the psyche of the American people.
We live in America. This is not the third world or the emerging countries.
The real secret in America is not how much power is being taken away from the average person. I think that what we all need to realize is the power that the average person has that we're not using. I see it in the eyes of my generation. I'm not saying we know what to do. I'm not saying we have the answers. But I see what I believe represents a critical mass of Americans who, in a very emotionally sober way, just like everyone in this room is doing, are at least willing to live the question. You know, we don't have 25 years to get it right. I'm not sure we have 10 years to get it right. I'm not sure we have 5 years to get it right.
What is the point of spending billions and billions or hundreds of billions of dollars on fighting wars, on foreign soil, or conquering outer space?
When I realized it was you and me, our generation, that was going to have to somehow take this ship, wake up the captain, which means us, the citizen within us, the person who takes a stand. We are at a point in human history where in order for the human race to survive, a generation has to make a stand for the right of the future generations to survive. We have to make a stand. When I realized that that's this generation that has to realize that, you can't just coast. You can't just coast. Maybe you'll live through it, but if you have kids or you care about kids, they won't. What we've heard tonight is people who represent armies of peace. And the Department of Peace is saying, let's give this army the institutional heft, the institutional support, the resources they need to help in all the profound ways that all of these people already have to create the world that we want.
But I would say that if we do not seek this path, this new path that Marianne talked about, then we will continue to be buffeted by the winds of grievous unintended consequences and erode the very values that have made this democratic republic an example to the world.
There are people who have somewhat poo-pooed the Department of Peace campaign. They simply don't see it as possible. But I want to remind you right now that the first abolitionists would not have thought that abolition was possible. We are doing this for our children, for our grandchildren, and for our grandchildren's grandchildren. It is when we serve the ages and not just ourselves that we find the deepest meaning in our souls. And it is when we come from that level of depth that we will have the power to move the American government in the direction of that level of depth. And it is that level of depth that will create love and peace and harmony on earth.
Peace is possible. The Department of Peace is the answer. There is nothing more important. 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 There is nothing more important than the Department of Peace. Thank you, peacemakers. I love you all.